Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off.
It's all the pressure. We want all the smoke all the time. Sunday, March 17th, Paul, St. Patrick's Day. My youngest son, Shama Sampson, a.k.a. Spaniard, it's his 3rd birthday.
Happy birthday, Shama.
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
You know, we have a couple legends in the studio today, and normally we can't say that about an 18-year-old. Are you 18?
19.
Max? 19? Okay, you turned 19? Yeah. Jamie Bosley, his son Max Bosley, both just happen to be leading scorers of their high school basketball teams. But we're not going to start with that. I wanted to say a couple things first. We were talking a little bit earlier about a thing I saw on a pod called the Pivot Pop podcast, where Des Bryant was talking about how you talk to your kids. And I thought in the theme of a father-son with us, how important that is, how you talk to your kids. I'm going to give you an example. My daughter Zipporah is a problem. She's 7 years old, and of all my kids, she doesn't listen. She's a problem. I used to tell my mom when I would see parents in the stores with their kids and the kids would be acting a fool, I would say, those parents should be thrown in prison. They're awful. And my mom would say, hey, every kid's different. You don't know. And back then I had Moses and Spartacus, and they were well-mannered and really good kids. Well, then all these years later, I'm now that parent I was criticizing and judging. So never say never. So my daughter Zipporah the other day evidently took her iPad to school with her, and we didn't know. And she's on the bus doing her little videos and asking people to subscribe and just on and on and on.
Hopefully she was on the podcast page.
So anyways, my wife finds this and she tells me, right? Now, granted, I'm separated, but she's still my wife, right? And so we still are a team raising these kids. So when I finally presented this to Zipporah, I said, hey, what the heck were you doing? Why did you go to school with you? And she's lying to me. She's telling me she didn't, swearing up and down she didn't. I said, Zipporah, we call her Porah. I said, I know you did. Can you please not lie? And she's still lying to me, like we would as kids,
right.
And so I told her, I showed her the evidence, and she's just looking at me, and I'm like, Zipporah, don't lie to me. I might have not said it that way. I might have said a few other things. But I said, but I love the videos. They were so good. I'm so proud of you. And her whole demeanor just changed. And it just... Watching that video the other day of Des Bryant speaking life into your kids,
sure,
man, that made me cry. I cried like a baby, Jamie. I swear. And I thought about you. I thought about Max coming in here, and how we'll talk, but how is a dad that here you were a superstar in high school basketball, all-time leading scorer in the Federal League, right?
Stark County.
At Stark County and at Jackson, of course. How did it start? You have a son, you have a mini-me. Did you throw basketball on to him right away from the get-go, or did it just come naturally? How did that all play out? I'm very curious to know.
It's very interesting. It's been an interesting journey for me, certainly, because I'm a high level competitor in everything I do.
Yeah.
So it was like God gave me this kid who, to be honest with you, if Max is honest, when he was little, he wasn't a very good basketball player. And I took so much of that on personally. So I had to work through that. Because everywhere we went as a little kid, he's a second, third grader playing basketball. He just wanted to have fun. And I took it as everybody would know, oh, there's Jamie Bosley. Oh, let's watch his kid. And and he would go out, and he may go out and score 2 points and have 5 air balls. And we'd get in the car after the game, and we might have won, we might have lost. And I took it on personally so heavy.
Yeah.
And he'd be in the back seat, and he'd be like, hey, Dad, can we go get ice cream? And I'd be like, I couldn't take it. And very quickly, I started to had to say, okay, this ain't right. I can't handle this that way. I need to love my son and support him and be, and it's been a journey. Man, has it been a journey watching him, because he developed a love where I sort of always had that deep love for the game early. He developed it, and then he worked for everything he got. Everything from a little kid through his high school career, he earned it himself. He worked and he went and got it. Where mine came much more naturally. Yeah. But I had to figure that out at an early in our relationship, because I loved him so deeply. I had a wonderful father who loved me, and my dad grew up on a farm. My dad never played any sports. My dad couldn't go out in the yard and throw the football with me because he would break his nose. He couldn't catch a ball. He just was so uncoordinated. But my dad loved me so deeply. He'd tell me every day, he'd grab me by the arm, and he'd go, I love you. You're not replaceable. He would say stuff like that to me. And like I would always, even when I went into the darkest times of my life, my dad would never like go, what are you doing? My dad would never do that. He would just grab me by the arm and he would go, hey, your mom and me, we love you. What are you doing? You're not replaceable. And that stuff deeply impacted me and impacted the way that I father Max. Nice. That superseded any athletics, academics, anything. I knew that I had to love him and encourage him and love him for who he was. And by the grace of God, he turns out, Well,
I can tell you early on, you were doing something right because my brother, Ben, his son Solomon is at Kentucky on a golf scholarship. He's going to be a pro in a few years. And Ben would say, Solomon would come home every day talking about this Max, his buddy Max, and Solomon loved you. I don't know what school you were going to, Ben and Sol would be, but you were doing something right early on because he had a great influence on Solomon, which we call him King. He's King Solomon. And golf now has an indoor golf program, like they have some indoor facility, and we say that should be the King Solomon Petrie facility because they hadn't sniffed a state until Sol showed up and they went 4 straight times, winning one. But for you, how old were you? How old were you when you finally realized, okay, my dad's Jamie fucking Bosley? Yeah. Like, when did you realize that? And how did that hit you?
I think, playing basketball from early as I can remember, and then starting to develop around 6th grade, I think realizing going into middle school, like he was unbelievable. And him like watching his games with him, be like, dang, the heck? And now he scored 2,000 points, played at Ohio State, Akron, like freaking stud.
Yeah.
And then it hit me and then it put pressure on me. But I knew if I worked as hard as I could, I think it would all handle in God's timing. And I would have never guessed or anything I'd be the all-time leading scorer at Wadsworth.
Right.
It's incredible. And doing it at Jackson, obviously, it's incredible. But yeah.
Did you ever walk around? Were you that kid? Because I always wanted my kids to be like that. My dad, Zeke, fucking hate him, man. You better recognize. Like, did you ever walk around like that? Hey, you know who my dad is, man?
Yeah, I think going through 6th to 7th grade, he coached our basketball. He coached from like 3rd to 6th grade. No, sorry, 3rd to 7th grade, and dude, bragging all the time, like, you know who my dad is?
That's so awesome.
Dude, and like me, everywhere we went, whether it was at Jackson, a basketball game, anywhere, knew freaking everybody. Yeah, and it was like, and it was so cool to see that, and then being able to grow up where I am now, and like you would be like, it would be insane if like you knew how many times like I saw somebody random be like, I know your dad. And like, everybody knows him. I know.
Right.
It's insane.
Right.
It's awesome.
Was he harder on you? Like if he's got a team of 8, 9 players, did he put it on you compared to the other? Did he make you an example sometimes?
Yeah. Like he said, I didn't start to develop till like the 6th grade. And like before that, I was god awful bad. Yeah. And as I start to grow older, I'm hyperactive kid. I'm over here all the time, and it's hard for me to focus. But once I get in the game, he was harder on me. But then as I grew older, he laid back a little bit and just kind of just encouraged me. He never like if you came to a game, he was always just like, come on, you got like he isn't over there with his head, shaking his head. It's always just encourage,
Right.
And it was really, really nice. Yeah. Cause I'm sure there's some dads out there that are just so hard and then some kids just can't take it.
Right.
I'm very, very grateful.
This is an interesting part of your relationship too. And in life, Jamie, you and Max's mother separated at one point, right? Yeah. How did that affect things? Did he stay with her? Did he come live with you? How did that go and how did that change things?
So he was he was probably 2 years old and we separated and got a divorce.
Yeah.
And we had equal time, and then eventually he come to live with me in Wadsworth, so he could go to Wadsworth schools. And he's got a great relationship with his mother. His mother loves him very much, and that's like one of the beautiful things about Max is, and I've always encouraged him to honor and love his mom, which I never needed to do. He does that naturally. He has a gift of compassion and love. He really does. So he's got a great relationship with his mom, and he was young enough that it wasn't like a big tragedy in his life or anything like that. So.
Right. Let me bring up the story because I want to get Paul engaged here. So Dan Donnelly, who's a good friend of Jamie's, tricks me, Chad Hazard, and Joe Ondo into coming to a church one night. Now, mind you, Dan's texting us, and he's like, I need you guys here on this night. At this time, you guys are all coming. And I reach out to Hazard and Ondo. I said, we better go because if we don't, Donnelly's going to be pissed. Because I know Dan. He really wanted us to come. He said there's going to be a speaker. So we're thinking John Calipari's going to be there. Steve Alford, somebody important, right? We finally, when we get to where we're going, because we meet at Dan's house.
I remember this night.
Yeah. We roll up to a church, and Ondo and Hazard are looking back at me thinking, you motherfucker. Because I was the buffer. I was the one kind of selling it, right?
Yeah.
Jamie's there, of course, and it's a church, and it was a great get-together. It was fantastic. Me and Ondo and Hazard still
because this was last minute for you.
It was kind of a last minute thing.
Because I was on the phone with you.
But then I bring up to Jamie, hey, I do a podcast with a guy you played in a regional final with. Barberton Magic,
I remember
Jackson. Of course, Jackson's, I always tell my cousin Tim DeBevick, who's the head coach at Jackson, you guys wear the bad purple. We wear the good purple, right? There's a difference. And so Jamie goes, Jamie's a gamer. He's gamesmanship all the time, right? Jamie goes, hey, I think he might have been the one I punched in the face. And I said, I can't wait to tell Paul that. So get this. So we're going to go to a Revere Barberton makeup game towards the end of the season. Me, Paul, Jason Hansen, my brother Ben. 2 nights before, Donnelly says, hey, man, Max is playing at Jackson in a couple days or whatever. And he's got a chance to break the all-time leading scoring record at Wadsworth in Jackson. His dad's on court. So I called Paul and Ben and Hans. I said, bro, the Revere Barberton game's off. Yeah. We're not missing this. Yeah. This doesn't happen every day. Yeah. So the night comes for us to come to the game. He gets sick. He's throwing up all over the place. He can't play. Man. So, the Jackson people probably figured you wanted no part of that smoke. You wanted no part of going into Jackson. So we walk in there, and on the Jumbotron, they're showing highlights of that 94 regional final. And I walk in and see you up on the screen, and I'm like, fuck, you should have been here, Paul. You should have been here, and you got sick.
It wasn't in the cards.
Jamie, so we want to talk a little bit about, if you're going back, were you a senior in that 94 regional final? Was that your senior year?
Junior.
You were only a junior, okay.
We're the same age.
Yeah.
You
47, 46.
You made a lot of Barberton people cry that night. Let's talk a little bit about that game because Paul said was Stowe not number 1 in the state?
Something like that.
Yeah, they were predicted to win state that year. So that was
Andy Norman, Jeff Byrne.
Correct.
Yes.
So we hung out with them a lot, obviously, after, that. Everybody becomes friends after the fact.
Yeah. So you guys beat Stowe.
Correct. We lost to them twice that year. Yep. The first time we were down by 25, came back double overtime. Second time we were down by 24, came back overtime, lost. Third time we met, obviously down in Canton.
Yeah.
So when we beat Stowe, which was predicted to win state that year, I mean they were the big dogs in the conferences that year. When we beat them, we looked at Jackson and was like, nobody, we just beat the number 1 team in the state that's predicted to win state.
Yeah.
So we really kind of looked past Jackson. We watched you guys. We all sat there. We're like, oh, these guys are garbage. We're not going to lose. And it was funny because Scott Henderson, I grew up with.
Oh,
he grew up on the other side of Memorial School in Barberton.
I didn't know
He was just a little grunty kid. And then the next time I seen him, he's 6'8", standing there playing. I'm like, where did this kid come from?
Yeah.
But that was awesome. I mean, that was really, I think we lost you guys by like 12 or 13.
It was 57-48.
Yeah.
Was Chet Feldman on that Stowe team?
No, he had just graduated.
Oh, he had just graduated.
Before.
Okay, Chet.
We played that game in the afternoon. I want to say it was either a noon or a 2 o'clock game.
Something like that, right?
It was very cool because they didn't do that back then. It was a regional game in the afternoon. It's springtime. It was
so that was day. One of our games that you probably raised him to like, listen, don't look past nobody. I don't care what you did or who you played or how you played before. Every game you look at, don't look past them because that's the games that typically get you.
Interesting you bring that up. I got so when he was approaching the record this year, it was a Wednesday and we played Brecksville, who's like, they're the top of our league. We played them on a Friday night. And Max was about 35-ish points,
no,
maybe or 40.
40. I think it was exactly 40.
40 points, and I get a call.
I had 20. I forget.
So we played. You guys had a Tuesday night game. You had like 30 some points. We play Friday night against Brecksville and Tuesday at Jackson. And I'm just sort of doing the math in my head, not talking about it, going, I cannot believe this is lining up to happen. Well, I start getting calls. The Beacon Journal calls, the Canton Repository calls. Hey, we want to interview Max. I'm like, listen. I told Josh Weir from the Canton Repository. I told Brad Mornoval from Beacon Journal. I'm like, nobody talks to Max. Nobody, nothing. We play Brecksville at home on Friday night.
They were about to talk to me before the Brecksville game.
Yeah, and I said, and I didn't tell him. I go, I'm just telling you, you don't have access to him at all. You call him at Friday night at 10 o'clock and talk to him. But Max's focus is on Brecksville. Right. You can't do that to him. You can't do that to Wadsworth team. He's got to worry about right now. And they were like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, don't call him or you're going to be in big trouble. Yeah. So anyway, it ended up, it all worked out, but it's much to what you said, right? And everybody's jumping ahead. And we lost to Brecksville. It was still a good game, but like it's just you respect the game, respect your opponent, everybody.
Right. But see, you remember that because with the immaturity comes those thoughts.
Oh,
because you're just thinking about like how I'm going to play, how many points, what's going on. We watched you, who we beat. It has nothing to do with the game.
Nothing.
Once you step on that floor, now the game.
It's whoever plays today, right now. Right. Nothing matters. Throw it all out the window.
Jamie, all that pageantry, the night Max broke the record in Jackson. Was that by design because it was you and it was him? And because, were they going to be honoring that team? And
so I'll give you a little backstory and I'll let him speak on it too. It was by God's design because you can't design all that.
Can't make that shit up. I told Don.
So I'll let him talk about for a few years you wanted to play Jackson.
Yeah, ever since like we got out of Jackson.
Yeah.
We played there when I was like 4th, 5th grade in like a tournament, and like it's been since then. So it's like I'm like it'd be really cool someday I come back to this gym. And ever since my freshman year, I tried to get our coach. I'm like, hey, I want to go play that, man. Like eventually, like it doesn't have to be this year. And he's like, whatever. And this year, our new coach, I was like, dude, we got some open spots, and Jackson needs a game, and they want us to come.
Wow.
And I asked him, and Coach Schrock, I love you. I love you for this. And he made that happen, and the rest is all God.
Yeah, the way it worked out.
So the cool part about it is Coach Schrock. So our team, we struggled this year. If you looked at our schedule, it was stupid. The games that we should have
like a top 10 hardest schedule in the state.
No, you guys were playing powerhouses.
If we would have replaced the Jacksons, the Medinas, the Brunswicks, the Lexingtons, if we replaced those all with just like some like Cleveland teams, City Series teams, we pick up 5-6 wins.
Easy.
Anyway, so that's not the way it worked out. It's okay. Right. Coach Schrock calls him this summer and goes, hey, Max, we got one game left. I'm just confirming. You want to go to Jackson? They're going to be really good. Absolutely, yes, done deal.
You're right.
I'm like, and deep down as a dad, you're always trying to look in the future. How do I protect my family, my kid? How am I protecting? I'm like thinking to myself, oh, you're going to get what you wished for, what you want.
But how cool is that for a coach to open up and actually call a player and say, hey, listen, this is what you want to do?
Oh, all love to coach.
That don't happen.
No, it doesn't.
Did your coach, when you were playing, call you and say, hey, Jamie, who do you want to play?
Lord, he would have MF'd me. Right. So anyway, so early in the year, I was like, oh, Max is averaging like 27 a game. And I did a little math like 5 games in the season. I'm like, it's going to be close when we get to Jackson. But I just thought, God, if the only way this ever works out is if your hand is in this thing. And if it is, how beautiful. Yeah. But like, dude, you can't orchestrate that. Right. You can't. He had 45 in a game. He had 40 in a game. He had 10 was his low this year. But like, how do you orchestrate this so perfectly so we get to that night? And DeBevic's amazing. Yeah. Tim DeBevic's freaking awesome, dude. Yeah. He what I love about him is he honors the former players, coaches, everyone. It's just such a humbling thing that he does. Like anytime I'm there, and it's not just me. I see him do with all of the players, with the old former coaches. He's just so like he honors them. Like, come in, man. You're part of this, man. And awesome. I love Jackson. I love that they've been able to win 2 state championships. Those teams are way better than my teams ever were. When they got this game scheduled, about like at the beginning of the season, Coach Tabevic, I got a phone call. He's like, "Hey, they're going to honor your team," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." This is like now, so now I got buddies that I played with coming in from Denver, South Carolina, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Like they're coming in from everywhere, and I'm like, "Oh, they're like, Bobs, we can't wait to watch your son." Yeah. So like as a dad, you're like, "Oh man, you're getting anxiety about this." And dude, that night came. They honored our team. It was beautiful, and then he just comes out. You were there. Oh, yeah. Gangbusters.
Unbelievable. Let me ask you this. The Jackson kids are different. They're from money. Yeah. They got a swagger. There's a toughness to them. They're cocky. Yeah. Was part of that you wanting to go there to say, "Hey, I'm going to show you guys who I am. I'm Jamie Bosley's kid, baby." Was that part of it? Max, be honest. Yeah. Hey, it's all the pressure podcast, Max.
No. I think. So, like, we go to open gyms there, like, past years and summers, and like they're just like should be careful what I say, but they're very like
confident.
You walk in there and they're like, "F you, I don't care about anybody in here. We're gonna kick your face." And they're like wearing chains, wife beaters. They don't care, and we're like, whatever, if that's the way you are. And it's like, it's crazy because like every time I went into their open gym, it was just so like defeating. You're like, oh, this is so freaking stupid. Like it's all the pressure because I go and play with him. Yeah. And then like I suck. And then they're like, "Oh, he's trash. He's terrible." And I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. And then to have everything playing out the way it did, and then leading into that game, like, dude, like I walked in that gym and it didn't feel real. It was unbelievable. And I was so freaking nervous, dude. It was. You
did have some familiarity with the Jackson team, though, right?
Yeah.
Because they say familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah.
Right? And you know you're good. Yeah. You're from the bloodline. You're from the Bosley bloodline. Let me tell you something. That first quarter, I'm sitting there with my brother Ben and Jason Hance. I got goosebumps, dude. I mean, you were going at it, and I mean, you were making tough shots. Like, and you guys were in control of that game. You had a double-digit lead at halftime.
Yeah. Unreal.
Bro. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Third quarter, you come out and you couldn't buy a bucket at that point. Do you think you were forcing it? Were you just trying to get it over with?
Yeah, I mean, I had 19 with like 5 seconds left. I see we have 4 fouls. I'm like, I'm going to go at one of these dudes and I'm going to fall. I'm going to make him call foul. And the refs called it.
This is the end of the first half.
This is the end of the first half. And I go up to the line. I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to have 21 going into the half.
You missed both.
And I freaking just clanked both.
Hey, he's shooting 87% at that point from the free throw line. We're up 13. Yeah. He's about to go up 15.
Yeah.
At half.
It missed both.
And I missed both. And then, like, I walk into there at halftime. I'm like, okay, we're up. But, like, that, it killed me. And then you knew Coach was not going to let me do what I did. So then, dude, every time I touched the ball, they sent 2 or 3 dudes at me. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like freaking out because I'm like, let me just get this over with. Yeah. And like, God, you wouldn't bring me here for this reason to do this and go off and then not get this. So, but then I knew I had to start making the right plays, and I knew that the ball was going to come back to me.
If I remember right, you didn't score in the third quarter.
No, I didn't.
So it was in the fourth quarter.
It was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And I looked back at Hanson and Ben and I said, we better not have fucking come all the way to Jackson and Max don't do this.
No, I know.
And I'm looking over at your dad in the corner on the far side, and I'm like, I was just praying.
See, but everybody sitting here already knows third quarter, you didn't show up. Fourth quarter's the one that counts.
Well, he showed up. He was still competing. He was competing. But just that moment, that would swallow most kids. Just to be in an environment like that, on the road, hostile environment in Jackson, his pop's homeschool.
Right.
Everybody's expecting, oh, man. It was incredible. Yeah. Shit. And we weren't, sorry, Coach Hazard, but we weren't coming to Revere Barberton that night. No, seriously, I love Chad.
Yeah, for sure.
But we wouldn't have missed that for the world. So you finally score, break the record. Yeah. Immediately the game stops. Pops comes out on the floor. You guys are taking pictures. I thought you act. You have a persona on the floor. Like you must have learned it from your pops because everything, all your movement, just how you are, you're already acting like a professional. Has he trained you to be like that?
Yeah, I mean,
because you can't fake that.
No.
I just like in that moment, I didn't even really know what to think. I kind of was just trying to soak it all in, and then he's walking out at me. I'm like, "Thank you, God. This is beautiful. It's perfect." And I'm just trying to calm down because like I knew we were. I don't remember. Were we down or winning at that time?
I think you were down at that. No,
tied. Maybe?
It was
No,
close.
I think we were still up.
I think it might have been tied, or we might have been up 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But like, I would have been more excited if the game. Let's just say anything would happen. But like, we still had a game to freaking win.
Right.
And like, I'm still locked in at the moment, and I'm like. It just like a sigh of relief was just like, okay, thank you, done. I don't have to worry about anything else anymore.
Yeah.
Go and win this freaking game.
Right.
Obviously, we didn't win the game, but yeah, I knew that I had to keep my emotions under control and just be very, very thankful for it. But
Did either one of you guys shed a tear? Did you shed a tear coming out for that?
I was about
had to be emotional.
I was about to, but I'm like, stay strong because if I shed a tear, I'm gonna lose it, and I can't freaking cry like a baby in front of all these people. So.
Here's when I'll tell you why I thought probably I would, because I'm a very emotional person. That day, I was listening to a song that I love. It's called "Back to Life," and it's about God bringing you back to life. Now I might get emotional. And if you knew the depths of where my life went from age like 23 to 27 with drugs, and like he was born and he was just a wee little baby, and dude, here I am, like went from Ohio State starting to like living in my mom's basement, and the way God had his hand on me and protected me and turned my life around, because I didn't turn my life around. I turned it over to God, and he turned my life around. The song's called "Back to Life." It's a great song.
Nice.
And I was listening to that song that day, and I was just bawling, thinking, praising and thanking God, because if he doesn't do that for me, there's no that day. That day doesn't happen. Max doesn't break records. Max doesn't, none of that. And dude, and it puts you in this humble state of like, God, I'm so thankful for what you've done, because this is all you, God. This is you. My son gets to have this today because of you. Because if you don't bring me back to life, who knows where
Jamie,
he's at.
your road to Damascus moment, when was it in your life?
I mean, I was divorced. I was like 28, 27, divorced. He was just a little kid, and he was spent a significant amount of time with me. And I just my dad had just passed away a few years before, and man, I had just went from like, God sort of let everything go in my life, like always let me have what I wanted. I always got the trophy. I got the sports. I got the job. I got like, just things always seemed to go my way in life. And then, after Ohio State and after Akron, and even my career was going really well early on. And then I started messing around in drugs and stuff. And like my life just it couldn't have got any lower. And I was divorced, living at home, and I just was with him all the time. And I just had such a deep love for my son. I'm like, I gotta get him. I had wonderful parents, and my life still has turned out like this. How in the world did this happen? So I started taking him to church, and it was a church in Jackson called River Tree. And I would go every week, and I would listen to people talk, and then at the end, someone would get up and they'd share their testimony about how God had changed their life. And they would talk about all the horrible things they had done, whether it was, infidelity or stealing or drugs or whatever. And I'd be like, I can't believe they're talking about that stuff. But then they would talk about how they turned their life over to Christ, and Christ forgave them, and God actually loved them. He wasn't mad at them, because I always thought God's got to be so disappointed and mad at me because I just have screwed this all up so badly. But then I heard about a God who, like, wait a second, he actually feels bad for me. He actually loves me. He's actually saying, come back to me, Jamie. Come back to me, man. I love you. This isn't how I intended your life to be. And it was through that process that I'm like, I started to actually understand like what a real relationship with Jesus Christ was. And dude, bang, it just changed my life forever. And God started to repair and heal and redeem. And like things that I used to be ashamed of and embarrassed, I didn't want anybody to know. I just hide it. I just keep all my secrets. I got my secrets. Nobody knows I mess around with cocaine. Nobody knows that I, drink, most days. Nobody knows any of this stuff. I always thought I had to hide that stuff. And then it became like, man, the devil wants me to hide this stuff. Because if I hide all my secrets and my sin over here, then it's just me wrapped up in them. I'm never going to get out of this stuff. If I start sharing my life with other people, saying there's people that want to love you and help you. And my most important thing was, I got to get this straight because I love this little kid so much. I mean, he would go to bed with me. We'd get up in the morning. We'd be together all day. Like, we were together 24/7. Wow. And God just started transforming my life. So it was like that 27, 28 range. And that's why I'm passionate about sharing my faith, man, because, dude, there's a million people out there that are just freaking struggling and hurting and broken. Right. You guys know how it is. You guys are my age. You know how life just beats the crap out of you, man. And men don't share their emotions. No. Men don't share none of that stuff. And man, we have a responsibility to love our kids. And if Satan can wreck your world, he can wreck your kids' world. If he can screw up Zeke, he can screw up your kids. He can screw up your family. So anyway, so that was my coming back to Jesus time frame of my life. And God just did a million different amazing things during that. So
that's so powerful, and I'm so proud of you, knowing what it's like to be at the bottom like that, where there's no hope and no light. And what's impressive about your son, what I've always been impressed with him most is he's not too cool. He's not. Oh, I'm Max Bosley. I'm Jamie Bosley's kid. We're the Bosleys, man. He speaks about Christ. He does it openly. He's involved in ministry. You guys have traveled overseas. That speaks a lot about you, your offspring. Absolutely. Max, tell us about that, man. Like, that gets me emotional, Paul, talking about it, because when you see this kid, man, he's young. He's got the whole world at his fingertips. And he always puts Christ first. Well,
you hit the nail on the head, because that really goes back to how he was raised. Because Jamie's already been through it. He already knows. He walked with, I'm Jamie Bosley. I'm going to do it. I got an attitude. Yeah. I'm here. He knew that he had to raise him to be in a different area with a different mindset. So good for you. I mean, that was awesome.
Max, tell us about that. Tell us about what your ministry and being involved with youth and being an example. And also where your next chapter, where you're going next year.
Yeah, so something that he's always just engraved in my mind is like Christ just is the center of what we are. And that's, basketball, family, school, like that stuff comes all with the blessings with God. But like Jesus has been so good to him and to me too. And I went through a rough time in my life about 2 years ago with getting hurt and going through some stuff. And then like I was at a dark place. And then I just said, God, I'm going to give my life to you, and I'm going to let you lead the way. And going through my junior year, I mean, I broke the record for most points in a game. And then like just like seeing God, and then like having all this like happiness in my life through it all, and just seeing him teach me and guide me through, just engraving it in my head. It's just like, and then like me being able to share it with other people too, leading people to Christ. It's just like nothing cooler than that. And next year, Malone, that's where I'm going to go play basketball. And I think that like to the start of this year, I had no expectations of, like, I was kind of like, I'm going to play my last year of high school. I didn't really have any plans of going anywhere. I didn't play AAU the past year. I didn't want to go do that because I felt basketball just wasn't my path. And God just said, nope. And I had the coolest experience this year. Obviously, our team, it wasn't the way that we wanted, but I mean, I had an unbelievable season, and all praise and glory to God, because God could have just said, yeah, you're going to have an all right season. You're going to have some good games, but God was with me the entire time. I didn't get hurt, nothing. It's incredible. Now I get to go play at an amazing school. And
talk about your Puerto Rico, the mission trip and your teammates and stuff going.
Yeah, so we went to Puerto Rico last year. So we go down there and we play basketball. We did some mission work. I think we went into San Juan and we got all of this food and just homeless people just come in and just give them food, water, everything. And it's just like to see the light on their face is so cool. And I invited about, I think it was 3 basketball kids from my school, and the one accepted Christ at the end who was like so far, and you're like, this kid is going to struggle, but he accepted Christ. And then another kid accepted Christ not too long ago too. And then his brother's like right there too. So it's like, like when you plant these seeds and you invite people here and there, it's just a start. And
one of the things we've done is, so when he was in the 6th grade was the first time I took him to Jamaica on a sports basketball mission trip. We run a basketball camp in Bercy. Or no, Bercy's in Haiti.
Bercy's in Haiti.
Gosh, I'm thinking Bercy. I can't even remember the town. But we'll think of it here in a second.
Oh, hold on. I'm thinking.
Think of it.
In Jamaica.
In Jamaica, yeah.
Not Kingston.
It's near Kingston, but it's a little town near Kingston. But we had 300 kids come to these basketball camps, and we would run a basketball camp 2 years in a row.
Old Harbor.
Old Harbor, Jamaica. That's funny, Bercy. I've been to Bercy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Anyway, so we would run basketball camps there for 300 kids. We'd have 150 or 200 in the morning, and then we'd have about 100 in the afternoon. And we would get the best basketball players in Jamaica, high school kids. Like we had the Jamaica Junior National High Jump champion. We'd have dunk contests, and the Jamaican culture, the people are freaking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started taking him, so we would run basketball camps and we'd run stations. Then we'd have a spiritual station where we'd share the gospel, share our testimonies. So he start to get exposure to that. And I have so many, like he would be like a little, because he was this little cute kid and the Jamaican kids just loved him. So he would be dancing with them and playing with them. And, like he wouldn't want to stay there. But anyway, that was where we started doing these sports mission trips, man. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they're powerful because you go use something like basketball that's universally loved. We've been to Jamaica twice. We've been to Belize 2 years ago. We were to Puerto Rico this last year. You go play these international basketball games. You play against other teams, share the gospel. You feed them. You eat with them. You hang with them. You go to orphanages, and he just gets to see. But the heart of the whole thing is, man, you're there to love people. Right. You're there to love people in the hopes to share the gospel with them. And and the cool part is you can invite your friends who aren't really into maybe potentially mission or Jesus. Yeah. You're like, hey, you want to go to Belize? And, hey, we're going to go snorkeling. We're going to go do these adventures, but we're also going to go work at orphanages. We're going to go play basketball. We do all this stuff, and then these kids get to go see like what Jesus probably did. He went out and did life with people. Man, he didn't just make them go sit in a church and scream at them and throw a Bible at them. Man, he went and loved people. Like Jesus was a friend of sinners. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like inviting them and telling them we're going to go play, we're going to go hoop, we're going to go do all of these fun things, and then like some people are like, I don't want to go do like a act of service and go do this, but it's like those kids have love in them deep inside. You just know it. And then like we're done and they're like, dude, that was my favorite part of the whole trip. And we're like, really? And it's like, it's so cool to see that.
That's awesome.
When you're out on the basketball floor competing, now I'm not going to ask your dad this question because your dad was a dog and he wasn't spirit led. Yeah. He wasn't following Christ at the time. Yeah. You in high school, being a follower of Jesus, you're out on that court, you're trying to compete. You're getting into people. You want to talk trash. How do you balance that? Because I'm out, Paul, you know that. We're all out there talking shit. I mean, constantly like getting bumping, like want to fight. Like, how do you balance that? How do you do that?
Yeah,
that's a real part. Like,
no, it's tough, man. I think once I get on that court,
like Max, you can't say, motherfucker, you can't guard me.
Yeah.
But Jesus loves you. You want to go to church afterwards? Can we talk like that, Jamie? Come on. I mean, that's the reality of it.
I mean, absolutely. I still play. I'm not perfect.
He gives it to young kids still.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah, no, it's tough because like once I get out on that court, I am locked in and I'm on a whole nother level of focus. And when kids are up in me, bumping me, and thinking they can guard me, and I don't initiate the trash talk. Yeah. But if there's a kid that I know that came at me last time, I'll make sure to go at them and let them know that they can't hang with me. But if they start talking trash, then it's bad. It's
but then
I'm
afterwards,
not proud of that. But like
right.
it's the way it's a part of being competitive about it.
No question.
I love it, and that's why I'm so thankful. I'm gonna get to go play again at a Division II college. And I'm gonna get to grow and learn and just become a better basketball player, and it's awesome.
For sure.
Zeke, I'll say this: it is interesting because I still play 4 days a week.
Right.
I mean, I play all the time. I play with young guys. I mean, I try to go places where I can still be really good without getting too demoralized.
Yeah.
And I can't play with really good 20-year-olds.
Right.
If they're really good, but it's hard to find really good 20-year-olds anyway. But the way my whole mindset has changed, it's very rare the places that I play on a regular basis that there's trash talking or fighting, because I have learned to promote peace and like not argue about stuff that I used to argue about, because I would rather, because at this stage of my life, I would way rather be friends with you off this court.
Right.
And I'm telling you, guys see a difference when you don't, when they call a bull crap call or whatever, and before you'd have been like, and you're like, or I'll even call stuff just to let you, and it's not, I don't want to say wussy ball, we'll say that. Right. But I promote peace, man. And there's a verse in the Bible. It is peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. I don't even know what all that means. I just know that I want to sow peace, man. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Your life
is under a microscope too, because you do prison ministry. You're the team chaplain for the Akron basketball Zips. Were you in the locker room last night?
No, we were out on the court.
You were out on the court? Okay.
I got a little net.
Did you get some of that?
Oh, yeah.
No, but your life is under a microscope. And
for sure.
You're having impact. That's what's most impressive about you, is that you're living and having impact. You're living with intention. I mean, you're getting it after it every day, man. I love that. I love the passion. I see it in Max. You guys are impressive, man. Like, it's not every day we get guys like this in the studio. Are you kidding me? Father, son.
I'm telling you though, man, it is the grace of God, man. It is the grace of God that He gives us favor anywhere and anything good that happens. I'm like, I had to go to the University of Akron basketball practices for like 2.5 years and just go and be a ministry of presence and literally not really talk to anybody. You just would go and you're just trying to develop a relationship here or there. And you're like, okay, God, I feel like you're telling me to keep going doing this. I'm going to keep going. Sometimes I feel weird. I don't even really talk to anybody when I go here. But I've watched it develop and I'm like, okay, God, you're faithful. I can trust you, because now guys come over to the house. We go to lunch with the guys. I'm at the games. I get some of the net. You know, it's just nice. It's like Ali after the game on Friday night comes sprinting down and hugged me on the baseline. Then last night, the usher's like, "Hey, you're not allowed to touch any of the players." I'm like, whatever.
Did you have to say, "Do you know who I am"? Yeah. That's what I would have said, Paul. I would have said, "Do you know who I am?" Come on, Jamie. Yeah. Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. That's so awesome, Paul. Hey. It's been a long time. It's been 30 years since you guys played in the regional final. Yeah. You got anything else you want to say to Jamie?
Well, first of all, for clarity, it wasn't me that you punched in the face. No. One thing that I want to know though is I'm going back to like one of his first questions. Like, so when Max was young, did you coach him?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
So you coached him all the way up. I'm only asking because sometimes it's very hard to coach your own children.
Oh, it's
so hard to coach them because they always feel like you're just beating on them. It's like, listen, this isn't just about you; it's about everybody. So it's very hard. It could be a lot of headbutting, and sometimes it can ruin a relationship. For sure. And all that I dealt with all that. I feel like there should be some sort of like support group. This sounds so corny or something. I'm going to agree with you.
Just for like. I mean, for many things, but for parents, for coaches, for people, fathers that work through this dynamic, because dads just, and dude, I've watched it. I watched it at Wadsworth in the lower, and I watched it all the way up through high school. Dads that are that never played or played at a very limited or live vicariously through their children. And hey, listen, everybody can do whatever they want with their own son, but you just watch it and you're just like, how do I navigate this in a way that I'm not those other things over there? And so actually when Max was going, so I coached they're like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and the head coach at the time was getting replaced, and they didn't have a 7th grade coach. So I'm like, okay, I'll coach 7th grade middle school basketball. So I coached Solomon Callahan's group, the group that was above him, and then I coached his group. So 2 years in a row, and dude, I had the most fun ever. I think someday, although I just consistently see parents ruin middle school and high school basketball and all sports. It's just a train wreck. For sure. So I don't know that I ever want to be part of that again. But I had so much fun for 2 years coaching middle school basketball. Just a blast. But yeah, we had so much fun.
So fun.
And I felt like I did a good balancing act by the time he was in 7th grade of coaching him. Yeah. But the varsity coach, when he got hired, said, hey, when he got his job, said, I want you to come be the varsity assistant. Thought about it, prayed about it, so let me get back to you. Give me 2 weeks to just think about this. And something just telling me don't do it. It doesn't feel like what is my real purpose for doing it? Because would I be doing it if Max wasn't there? Probably not. And I watch I don't want to be on the bench coaching my son and a little bit coaching the other kids and just on him every day in practice, every day. I watched it. I see this.
We already had Coach Kyle with
So it's just, and I was like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I can't. I'm like, Max, I'm not going to do it. And believe me, there were times for 3 years when I watched, I'm like, oh, if I was on the bench, this or that. But I'm like, you know what, though? I made the right choice, man. Yeah. And my wife made a great point the other day. We were talking. She goes, you realize, she said, Max did that with like nobody was like orchestrating that for him. No one like had their like, hey, like, because for 3 years, Solomon was a phenomenal player, went to Wright State. Everything was designed for Solomon. That's great. He just got the scraps, but he always stayed the course, did what he was supposed to do, was a great teammate. And then his senior year, he busts out and has a big year. No one really did anything. That's on Max. Max put that all on his shoulders and did that. So,
you know, as a dad, you could watch Max play. Max could have 25, 5 and 5. And he can come home and you could say, well, you know, you really didn't have that good of a game. Because you're his dad and you know his effort, his energy, what he's doing on the court. Body language. Yes. Would you be like that? I would talk to Dan Donnelly about it all the time, about Brendan and my son Moses when they played. You know, as a dad, are you getting everything out of your kid? Is your kid giving it all?
Well, here's the difference between me and any other dad out there. I know what it's like to be average 26 a game and just not have a good game. So the last thing that I want to hear, it would be, and my dad told me a great job no matter what, because he didn't even really know basketball. But I know what he needs to hear, and it's not me going, what the heck, why don't you want to do it? I may go, hey, the one thing I would do different is, the one time I was a little ticked at him was on senior night. He just had it was a colossal, just one of those. It was the only night all year where he just had a night where it was just like that senior night. That night, like it was freaking packed. It was like, this was supposed to be the night. This is one of my last times at home. Right. And it was just like, this was the team I had 47 against last year. I had 30 against them the past game. Like I just destroy this team, and they just did not let it happen. Wow. And I missed shots. They sent two at me, and it was like, I didn't struggle all year of like having bad, like putting my head down and all this stuff. It wasn't bad. And then like that game, and then I kind of went on a stretch where it was just like, I was in my own head. So that night he come home, and dude, he was distraught. I was just couldn't stop crying. So many people were there to see him. So like family friends. He walks in the door, and he just buries his head in my arms and cries. Wow. And dude, I love my kid. Yeah. Screw the game. Screw all that, dude. I love you. Yeah. I love you. Right. You got another game on Tuesday. Bounce back, man. I love you. You know, awesome. And then after that all worked, because dude, my heart's broken for my kid. Yeah. Like, if you have any love for your kid, you need to be pissed at him because he freaking just had you play 24 games in a year. You think you're going to be a Michael Jordan in every one of them? No. But now afterwards, we circle back, not maybe the next day or a couple days later, and he's like, I don't want to talk about it, Dad. I'm like, but we do need to talk about this, buddy. I'm like, actually,
we had to go back and watch film.
I was waiting for that, the film.
Actually, we played the next night because we had a make-up snow game at Nordonia. And I said, so I just said, but we do need to talk about this today, Max. I'm like, the one thing that my high school coach instilled in me, which was the greatest ever gift, and it took some time because I went through some hard times with him in high school because he would just emotionally and mentally tear you down. Yeah. He would build you back up freaking stronger, and he would have your back. Like if another coach even looked at you, he was ready to fist fight him right there, and you're like, that guy's got my back. Like, you can beat the piss out of me, and I still am you. This guy's got my back. Like that's just how he was. Like. But he taught me to be so mentally and physically, but mentally tough that no one could break you. Hey, you could be having the worst game ever and no one's going to see nothing on that face. Nobody gets to me. And dude, I might be dying inside, like just, but I ain't going to show you nothing, mother freaker. Yeah. So he instilled that to me. So I'm trying to get him to that point where like, hey, dude, you missed 5 in a row. I was talking to him last night, the Sullinger kid from Kent State, man. Yeah. He's a freaking player, but guess what? He missed 4 in a row. And dude, and what did he do? He just keeps shooting, he keeps scoring, he's going to keep coming, he's going to keep fighting. Yeah. You ain't see no facial expressions. You don't see anything. That's a dog. Nothing. And Enrique Freeman's the same way, differently, the good player for Akron, dude. Yeah. It doesn't matter. There could be a bomb going off, and he's just zoned in. You wouldn't know if know if he had 80 points or 2 points and no rebounds. And I'm trying to instill that in him, man. You can't let that, because the minute the opponent sees that weakness, the minute that crowd sees that. Dude, when I see that in him. So that's just, and that's life stuff, man. Life happens, and life's going to beat the piss out of you. Yes, hey, guess what? You love Jesus. You got a great life. Guess what? Life's going to beat the piss out of you. Sir. And you know what? If you're a drug addict, life's going to beat the piss. Doesn't matter who you are.
Life will humble you.
Yes. And it's going to 100%. Right. So it's how you respond. It's how you control your emotions and don't get too high. You don't get too low. And
that's awesome that both you guys learn that young, because it takes a lot of male adults or just however years to learn that. Mm-hmm. Years.
I wanted to tell you I really appreciate your sentiments about Tim DeBevick. Tim's grandpa Petrie and my grandpa Petrie were brothers. So we're family. I love him, and I wish he was coaching for the good purple, not the bad purple. But he's the best. Yeah, man. He is. He's awesome. I love him. He's a winner. And listen, thank you guys for coming. This is, for me, I'm going to be honest. This has been my favorite podcast that we've done.
Probably, yes. Right.
This is good stuff. I mean, this is good. Jamie, for you and Max to come out here on a Sunday, we all should be in church probably. Yeah. We all should have been in church at the 11 o'clock hour.
We go early.
Yeah. Because when I was talking to Max about you guys coming, he's going, the earlier the better. So anyways, thank you guys for coming, man. I appreciate your guys' life, the impact you guys are having on people. I hope people that watch this, that dads who have kids that play, can feel the energy of this conversation and what's really important in life. Life's short, it goes by fast, and then it's all fucking over. Yeah. Right? And it's about loving each other and helping each other and trying to follow Christ's teachings and just to love people. And thank you, Jamie, for coming.
Yeah,
thank you, Max, for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man.
This was amazing.
Man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
We'll have to do it again.
Thankful.
Paul, all the pressure all the time. We want all the smoke. Jamie Bosley, Max fucking Bosley. I can say that now, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Max, you're a legend. You're following right behind your pops. Love you guys. We'll see you next time, guys. Josh, give me my fucking music. Let's go.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.